You are listening to Blockchain Asia podcast hosted by Coco Key. She brings to you illuminating and inspiring thought leaders from Asia's blockchain and crypto ecosystem. This is the go-to show to understand Asia's impact on the innovation and uncover market opportunities. If you like the show, subscribe to it and tell your friends. Also subscribe to newsletter Blockchain Asia at Substack to stay informed.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Blockchain Asia podcast. I'm your host, Coco. Today, I'm thrilled to have as my guest, Du Yu, or DY, General Manager of Wanxiang Blockchain Labs and founder of Future 3 Campus. Future 3 Campus is a Web3 incubator that I learned about last year. I'm excited to have DY talk about it in detail, as well as his perspectives about Asia's uniqueness in Web3 development. Our conversation is intended for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. The speaker's views and opinions are their own. DY, so wonderful to have you. Let's start with the background to help listeners know more about you.
Thank you for having me here today. My name is Du Yu, and short for DY. I'm the General Manager of Wanxiang Blockchain Labs. Kind of a very quick introduction about me. So I was majored in telecommunication and then got my master's degree in computer science. And after that, I came to work as the software engineer at H3C, which is focusing on the R&D of switch and routers. So kind of I'm a tech guy and focus on different protocols. And then I work in the R&D center for a few years. I feel boring at the R&D center. I see I need to see the different world. So I quit my job and then went to US for my MBA degree. So I spent 2 years in Lehigh University, which is in Pennsylvania. So I spent 2 years at US and then come back to Shanghai in 2015. So that is the year I joined Wanxiang. Wanxiang is a pretty interesting company. Wanxiang was founded in 1969, so it's more than 50 years. And it was one of the earliest private companies in mainland China. And it's a very traditional company. So the original sector of business for Wanxiang is from manufacturing, the car parts manufacturing. And they also have a few factories in US. So besides the manufacturing sector, we also have an agriculture sector and finance sector. So I joined the company called China Wanxiang Holdings, which is belong to the financial sector. It's a pretty good timing for me. The vice chair of China Wanxiang Holdings, Dr. Xiao, at that time decided to get into the blockchain in 2015. Then I came back to Shanghai. I have background of both technology and business. I joined Wanxiang for blockchain. I was the first person in Wanxiang focusing on blockchain technology. That's why I set up the blockchain labs and also being the general manager of blockchain labs in 2015. Wanxiang Blockchain Labs was the earliest institutional blockchain research institution in China. And then along the way, we're doing a lot of things related to blockchain technologies. At the very beginning, we tried to promote technologies to the whole industry, because back to 2015, when we say blockchain, most people just realize it's only all about Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin exchange. But we say blockchain is more than Bitcoin. We promote blockchain technology or DLT technologies in China a lot. So we're doing research, we publish different books. And back to 2015, we start to host the first blockchain summit in Shanghai. Last year, it was our 9th year. This year will be 10th year, which also means I already been in this area for almost 10 years. After around 2 years, nonprofit research institutions in Shanghai, we set up a business entity. So we try to implement blockchain technologies to different industries, because the background Wanxiang. So we implement blockchain technology into financial sector and also manufacturing sector, like supply chain finance, etc. Still, we have a group around 200 employees in Shanghai working on the industrial blockchain side. But on the other hand, I also spend a lot of time in global Web3 community. In 2015, Wanxiang blockchain was one of the earliest institutional supporter of Ethereum Foundation. And also along the way, we're doing a lot of investments using Wanxiang's entity. So together, we already invest more than 3 or even more than 400 startups since 2015. We're doing all aspects in blockchain area, research, industrial applications, and investment. Also, we have a lot of business in Hong Kong related to crypto. It's a very quick introduction about Wanxiang Blockchain Labs and myself.
That's great. That's a lot to unpack, actually. I have some questions for you. First, so you started as telecom engineer, but then you decided to leave, got your MBA from Lehigh University, and then came back to China, joined Wanxiang Group. Wanxiang Group at that time didn't have any blockchain business yet. Am I right for that part?
That's right. What I joined is the Wanxiang financial sector. Wanxiang invests heavily in technology. Before blockchain, we have AI company, AI investment company. Around 2015, Dr. Xia has already done a lot of research on blockchain. And then at that time, Wanxiang decided to officially get into blockchain sector, which means to set up an entity. I was the person that at the perfect timing joined Wanxiang and joined blockchain industry, being the general manager of Wanxiang Blockchain Labs.
Which year did Wanxiang start to do research on blockchain?
It's around 2013.
That's quite early. And Dr. Xiao was one of the senior managers in the group, which was very excited about this new innovation. And then the group launched Wanxiang blockchain entity. And then next is Wanxiang Blockchain Labs.
Wanxiang Blockchain Labs is the entity I mentioned. In 2015, we set up the Wanxiang Blockchain Labs, which is a nonprofit institution. 2 years later, we think it's good timing for us to get into the commercial sector. We set up another entity called Shanghai Wanxiang Blockchain Incorporated. In that entity, we're doing all the commercial applications.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's very helpful because there are multiple components in this picture, because some people did not understand that Wanxiang started as a group which has industrial, agricultural, and even research arms. It's a private sector company. It's very interesting that Wanxiang has over 100 people based in Shanghai doing research on blockchain's application.
Right. We are serving the whole industry, not only from the manufacturing industry, like the car parts manufacturing industry, but also from the financial sector. So I didn't mention that under Wanxiang's financial sector, we have a lot of financial license, like banking, payment, security in China.
The team in Shanghai is trying to apply blockchain technology to different sectors, including finance, manufacturing, supply chain, etc.
That's right.
Let's zoom in on Future 3 Campus. How does Future 3 Campus collaborate with Wanxiang Blockchain Labs and Hashkey Capital? Because I understand these are the two entities which back Future 3 Campus.
So we have a very close relationship with Hashkey Group and especially Hashkey Capital. The general idea behind that is Wanxiang Blockchain Labs in mainland actually be doing incubation for blockchain in startups back to 2016. We have a lot of entrepreneurs from different backgrounds getting into blockchain. At that time, we still say blockchain or Web3. And then in the last year, we see there are a lot of new regulation or Web3 friendly regulation came out in Hong Kong. And we think it's a good timing for us to work together to utilize Hong Kong's regulation, which can help us to attract more Web3 entrepreneurs to Hong Kong, because there's the regulation in mainland China right now ban everything about crypto. It's hard to developers, entrepreneurs in mainland to know what is happening in Web3. So we see regulation in Hong Kong. We say we need to work with Hashkey Capital to promote the whole innovation of Web3 in Hong Kong, because from Wanxiang blockchain perspective, we have a lot of research in the technical side, and we spend a lot of time doing developer community in China, around Asia. And then for the Hashkey Capital, they are more focused on the investment side. We try to attract Web2 developers or Web2 entrepreneurs. We try to help them get into Web3. Then Wanxiang blockchain can provide technical side. We can, using our research team, to help them to build the whole business model around Web3. For Hashkey Capital, they can invest in these startups, which can help these startups from different angles. We try to utilize the friendly regulation framework in Hong Kong to attract more developers. China and the US has a large amount of developers and large amount of university, large amount of tech companies, which is a talent education system, which can have a large number of great entrepreneurs and developers. We need to attract more developers and entrepreneurs from mainland China come to Web3. It's a big contribution to the Web3 industry, especially to attract these people who have an industry background. That, for example, people have financial background, have the IoT background, etc. Before, Web3 is all about technologies. At that time, we call blockchain technology. During the past 2 years, people are starting to using the word Web3. My understanding is that it's more and more about applications, not about protocols. Chinese developers are very good at building applications. We need to attract these developers or entrepreneurs to Web3 to build Web3 applications based on the existing protocols. At the end of the day, we cannot sell protocols to the general public. We need to build something really helpful or can change the society. It's a good opportunity. So that's another reason why we initiate a Future 3 campus in Hong Kong.
That's a very interesting point. Do you see that most of the Chinese developers would focus more on developing applications comparing with the US, where most of the developers might be more interested in developing protocols?
Let's look back for the internet from the Web 2. Because of the different education system, because of different culture, the Western developers probably more suitable for designing protocols. And then for the Chinese developer, especially under the whole development history of Web 2, Chinese developers are more trained to develop applications. Probably we can spend 1 or 2 hours, even more, to discuss why it happens. But the result, the Eastern developers, like Chinese developers, are more good at application side. And for the Western, especially US and European developers, are more good at protocol design, protocol development.
To transition from Web 2 development to Web 3 development, would that be a long time frame for a developer to grow? Any training or programs required to help them get up at speed?
From the technical side, it's pretty easy or straightforward. Like to learn a new program language, you probably need another 2 or 3 months at most for the experienced developers. The hardest thing is the mindset. The whole mindset of Web3 is totally different from Web 2. The business model is different. On the layer, protocol are different. So I mentioned I quit my job in China and then get my MBA degree in Lehigh. That is a similar transition because my background is always on the protocol side, on the developer side, on tech side. I know nothing about like the business world, I would say, at that time. So I need to have a 2-year MBA program to help me to change my mindset. For the Web 2 developers, getting to Web3 is pretty similar. So that's why we're doing a lot of education work. And under the Future 3 campus, we're doing a lot of training program, training about essentials about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also telling them what is happening in Web3, what the protocols in Web3, about the tokenomics and regulations.
Let's talk more about Future 3 campus. what does it focus on? Is there any particular sector or subsector this incubator is going to focus?
For the Future 3 campus, there are three cohorts we are focusing at. The first one is Web3 massive adoption. So any project that can help bring more developers or bring more users to Web3, we are trying to help them. So when we say massive adoption, someone mentioned that we need to bring 1 billion users to Web3. But my idea is that if you want to bring 1 billion users to Web3, you first need to bring a few million developers to Web3. Originally, we were thinking that we try to help projects that purely building applications, but then we realized that it's still too early. We still need to attract more developers. So this is the first cohort we are working at, which means attract more developers and users to Web3. And the second one is DePin, like decentralized physical infrastructure network. Before the DePin word came out, we're doing blockchain with the physical world, with IoT technology. Already for 5 years, around 2018 or 19, we're doing a lot of industrial applications. When we're dealing with the manufacturing, dealing with factories, dealing with machines, how can we connect machines to blockchain? The only answer is IoT. So we're doing an IoT plus blockchain technology in the industrial applications. What we are doing right now is try to bring our expertise in the blockchain and Web3 originally to the public blockchain or Web3. It's a good opportunity to build the decentralized infrastructure for whole Web3 applications. And the third cohort is AI Web3, not purely AI, but AI Web3. Still in the very early stage, there is a pretty interesting thought from myself that Web3 is not designed for human. It's designed for AIs or for the robotics, for machines. The reason is that, the private key or public key is very hard for human beings to use, right? It's pretty hard. So we need to design different wallets, hard wallet and account abstraction, different protocols to help human beings to use blockchain, to use private keys. This is one reason. When you are using for machines, for AIs, it's pretty easy, right? For the second is the most important reason is that I think back to 2015, we always say code is law, but the code in the blockchain or in the smart contract cannot regulate the behavior of human beings because human beings, the act is regulated by the government, by the legislation system. But for the AIs, for the machines, it's perfect to use smart contract to regulate the behavior of AIs or machines. In that case, the code is really the law. Someone said machine fi in the Web3 is more about finance, about tokenomics. The tokenomics in Web3 could help AI to design new business models, especially for machine fi. That would be a very interesting scenario. It could come true in next 5 or 10 years. And the last I want to mention, massive adoption, which means we try to build a better Web3. And the second is DePin, is more about the physical world, about the IoT. And the third is AIs. At the end of the day, when we say Web3, it's not only blockchain technology or it's not only AI, but a combination of different technology, like the Web2. We need to use iPhone. Inside iPhone, there are technology from chips, from battery, from telecommunication, camera, and also operating system. It's a combination together and then being a platform. I think for Web3, it should be the same idea. It's a combination of different technologies together. But still today, we are in the early stage. We need to build a better Web3, a better AI, a better IoT, a better robotics. And then at the end of the day, everyone become virtual and become a platform. That would be our next generation of internet. Yeah, so at this time, let's do one by one.
That's a great vision. I totally agree. So Future 3 Campus has 3 areas to focus on. One is the Web3 mass adoption, and second is DePin, and third is AI. I have some follow-on questions to ask. For mass adoption, right now, for your whole cohorts, you try to attract founders that would bring new development tools to attract more blockchain developers. Did I understand it right?
Yeah, that's for develop tools is one of the projects, but also we are working with, for example, a few months ago, we worked with the Town Foundation, which is related to the Telegram. Actually, we doing our third camp focus on Town Foundation. One of the reasons we work with them is they have a very good relationship with the Telegram. And there are around 800 million users on Telegram. Outside the United States, when you are using Telegram, there is a function called wallet. Then you can use the Town coins and add cryptos under the wallet. I would say Telegram is trying to become a Web3 version of WeChat. That's a very big thing. There are 800 million users on Telegram. So there is function in the Telegram called mini apps, similar to the mini apps on WeChat. It's an entry tool for users to using Web3 applications in the Telegram apps. We work with them and try to attract the users of Telegram to be a user of Web3. So not only for developer tools, but also with the applications that can serve the general public.
I use Telegram a lot. That's a very good entry point to attract more Web2 users to Web3. Telegram is very popular among Web3 community.
That's right.
And also in Asia, last time when I was visiting Singapore for Token 2049, most of the people wanted to connect through Telegram versus LinkedIn or Twitter. So that's something I observe. It's different from the US. Future 3 Campus is helping Telegram Foundation to migrate more Web2 users to use their wallet and their token.
That's right. And especially they want to attract developers from the WeChat ecosystem. You know, the mini app in WeChat, it's a very big ecosystem. So they want to attract these people, these founders to build their mini apps on Telegram. And with the support of Web3 tools like wallet, smart contract, etc.
It's a very smart move. It's very smart. It makes a lot of sense. When it comes to DePin, I have some follow-on questions. DePin is a new concept. I first learned about it from you, actually, when we talked last year. And I started to pick up some more idea and knowledge about DePin. Even in the US, it is not a popular topic yet. It's just coming. I know there is Helium and some other projects right here. So what is the status in Asia? Something people talk about a lot, or just something new that people are starting to explore?
Yeah, I think similar to US and Asia, during the past 6 months, people are getting more and more interested at the DePin projects, and especially these DePin projects related to the AI, like computing power projects. I think the good thing about DePin is that when we say Web3 applications, it's decentralized, or DS, decentralized applications, but all the decentralized applications are based on a centralized cloud, right? People are using AWS or some other cloud suppliers. And then how we can build a decentralized infra. Under the DePin, we can see projects like Helium, which provide a decentralized, I would say, network. And also, actually, Filecoin is another DePin project. It provides decentralized storage. So, you know, when we talking about like digital economy, so everything are built on servers. So when we servers, we do need to have computing power, especially when AI booms can storage. energy, and also network. They are the four fundamental elements for the whole digital economy. In the Web3, we try to build a decentralized version of the infra, like decentralized storage. We have Filecoin, our web, a decentralized network like Helium, some other projects we are incubating right now, like Roman, it's a Wi-Fi projects. And also for decentralized computing project. So when I was in Denver, the AI and DePin is also the two topics. We try to build a decentralized computing power network. I think that is very essential because right now, most of the computing power are controlled by a few big companies, and the entry tickets for like AI companies should be at least a few billion, because you need a few billion US dollar to buy the computing power, right? The decentralized computing is a very hot topic right now. This is one sector from the infrastructure perspective. And from the physical world perspective, when we're getting interaction with the physical world, blockchain or Web3 plus IoT, that's another new opportunity for us to explore. I think there is an advantage of Shenzhen. Shenzhen is only 15 minutes take high-speed train from Hong Kong. And I think most of the hardware supply chains are in Shenzhen. So it's easier for projects in Hong Kong to get connection, so to get support from the devices or hardware supply chain from Shenzhen. You mentioned Helium. I think at least 60-30% or even more, probably 90% of the Helium devices were produced in Shenzhen. And also for the Filecoin, Bitcoin, the mining machines, most of the mining machines are produced around Shenzhen. I think for Helium, when you go with the hardware, you do need to get support from the supply chain in Shenzhen.
Yes, that's something I'm excited about because DePin, the hardware manufacturing, requires a lot of facilities and supply
Right.
chain development. And Asia, especially in China, the first
Right.
infrastructure is very well developed. DePin will be a big winner if China can put it off the ground.
Yeah, I want to add in another point. I have a background of both industry and Web3, so-called Web3 native. I spent a lot of time in Hong Kong and Singapore, talk to the enterprise, the government, when we say crypto, they're being very conservative, especially for the technical department, because the financial regulation department, they have to deal with different crypto projects or Web3 native projects. But for the industry department or technical department, they're very conservative on the financial things in crypto, like DeFi, because there is new notion came out day by every day. So I think they don't want to take that risk. But when we say DePin, introducing DePin to them, it's easier for them to understand. And second, I think they are more comfortable talking DePin with you because it's more focused on the application side. There's no financial sector. DePin may take the role of ETF to Bitcoin, which means that when you pass ETF, Bitcoin ETF, the traditional financial institutions, the old monies, they are more willing to invest in Bitcoin because there is a green line from the regulation. For the DePin is a good way to persuade regulations or the enterprise, the corporate side to accept the concept of Web3 because it's easier for them to understand DePin projects, right? It's a Web3 version of AWS, of cloud computing, of storage infra. They can easily understand that. So it's easier for them to give a green light. That's why we are so excited about DePin. Not even to mention the big opportunity in the DePin to like build a new infrastructure based on Web3.
Yes. One thing that I want to get your thought on, a lot of DePin projects, for example, Helium, they are challenging the existing monopolies in the market, for example, telecom monopolies, and also storage, AWS, etc. Do you think they will come across a lot of resistance because these groups could lobby the regulators to stop the DePin from growing too fast, growing too big? What is your thought?
That's a very good point. Let's just take Helium, for example. It's not a challenge to the existing service provider like T-Mobile, like AT&T. Actually, Helium is working with T-Mobile. The decentralized way of DePin is a supplement to the centralized infrastructure. There are a lot of places that do not have a service from the AT&T, from T-Mobile, from the carriers, because these carriers are all commercial companies. They need to calculate the ROIs, but Helium, with the power of Web3, with the power of decentralized, a Helium node can work with the T-Mobile for provide service to individuals. So they are working very well in US, and also I think outside the US, especially for the developing countries, when the infra is not good enough to build the infra, the whole cost is huge. For most developing countries, it's hard for them to kind of build a very good infrastructure. DePin will be a good supplement for them to build the infrastructure together with the centralized company. Web3 is not going to take place of Web2. At the end of the day, they will have both Web2 and Web3. It's decentralized and centralized solution, right? It all depends on what problem you are going to solve. In the end of the day, it should be a mix of centralized and decentralized.
That's a very interesting point. And that's also something I want to bring up about AI and Web3 or crypto too. Peter Thiel made a very interesting comment in 2018 about AI and crypto. He said AI is communist and crypto is libertarian, because AI and crypto, they too, the combo look a little bit funny to me, because AI emphasizes more about centralized control and centralized control of data. Because if you need scale, you need a lot of controlled data and centralize the data and also the compute power. But crypto is more, and blockchain is more bottom up. It's more distributed. So to combine these two, in the beginning, I was struggling to accept that. But it seems like, as you brought it up, nowadays, Web2, Web3, they will work side by side, and large telecom companies will work side by side with DePin company. So for AI and Web3, it's possible to work together.
I want to follow up there about the thing you mentioned about AI is all about centralized. You need a large scale of data and large scale of computing power. Then you can train your model. Our experience in the industry, the reality is that no one wants to share their own data to others, especially for the enterprise. For individuals, it's easier. So I sacrifice my privacy, and then in return, I got convenient. My personal data is not that important compared to the convenience. But the idea is can changing. People are more and more care about privacy, especially for Web3 people. But for the enterprise, it's all about privacy or commercial secret. So it's hard for them to sharing data with others. But for AI training, you do need to gather different data at one place and then training. With the technology of blockchain and also some technology called NPC, multi-party computing. So the idea behind that is that you don't need to transfer your data to a third party. You keep your own data. For example, we have 3 companies here. We need to put our data together. The traditional way, send our data to a third party, and then they're doing the training. But then we cannot guarantee that third party will delete our data after the use. But with the solution on PC and blockchain, everybody can keep their own data in-house, and the algorithm will come to your data center and then do the calculation. They only bring the result away, but not the raw data away. That's a way to protect your privacy. The Web3 gives a new opportunity doing a decentralized version of AI training. But without blockchain, without the NP, like DK, zero knowledge proof things, it's not possible. But now it's possible.
Blockchain and Web3 bring more potential to the development of AI.
That's right.
How about talking about what criteria you look for in a prospect?
Similar to the venture capitals to pick different startups, the general idea is pretty similar. But from our like incubation program perspective, the founders is the key. We do have some criteria for the founders. First, it should have a lot of industrial experience because what we do is not purely Web3 protocols. We're doing a combination of Web3 technology of different industries. So we do need they have industrial expertise. I think this is the first one. And the second one, the most important one, is a mindset. So the founder should be open-minded for Web3, like tokenomics, the idea behind the Web3. So they need to open-minded to learn these new things. I think these are most important things. For the technical side, we can provide help. We can try to find a great CTO for the founders.
And what is the geographic breakdown of your first two cohorts? Do they come mostly from Asia or from global?
Yeah, so for the Future 3 campus, our HQ is at Hong Kong, but we do have office in Shanghai, in Singapore, and also, from our group perspective, we have office in Japan. So it's faced globally. We've already done 3 cohorts. Around 70% of the startups are based in Asia. The rest of the 30% are from US or North America and also European countries. Around like 60% or 70% of the founders, they are not originally from Web3, and they are new to Web3. No matter which countries you are, we care about your expertise in different industries. Last week, we have an on-site 2-day event in Singapore. Singapore is in the center of Southeast Asia. So we want to attract investors or partners from Southeast East Asia countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, etc., to help our founders to get more connections there.
Now back to the question that your incubator chose to be in Hong Kong as well as in Singapore and other locations.
Right.
I would like to pick your brain about Hong Kong's landscape, especially regulations, how friendly the local government is to Web3, DePin and AI together. Please share your perspectives and insights. I always want to ask people who are on the ground.
My understanding of Web3, actually, I divide the whole Web3 ecosystem into 2 parts. The first is more about like innovation, technology, developer, and the other is more focused on the financial sector. So when we say like crypto exchanges, issuing tokens, it's all about finance, right? So let's first from the financial sector. Hong Kong is a traditional financial center. Hashkey was founded in 2018 in Hong Kong. Actually, before make the final decision, we look around the different countries because at that time there is some like smaller countries say we are very friendly to crypto and please come to our country and we can provide license to you. But then at the end of the day, we were thinking we still need to do business in the traditional financial center. And Hong Kong is the traditional financial center in Asia, which means the whole legislation framework is more solid. And the investors, the financial institutions, there are more traditional financial institutions here. And then, so that's the first good thing about Hong Kong. And then towards Web3, around like 1.5 years ago, the Hong Kong government has made an announcement on Web3. They want to be in the leading regions in Web3. So they're starting to design their whole legislation framework about regulating Web3. So until now in Hong Kong, traditionally Hong Kong is a financial center. They have a fund management license, exchange license, broker license. I think along the way, they're all adding crypto under the license, which means you can running a fully crypto fund in Hong Kong under the regulation of Hong Kong's SFC, Security and Futures Committee. And then last year, there is a new law came out. It's about crypto exchanges. So before that, if you want to run in a crypto exchange, if you are only dealing with utility token, you don't need a license in Hong Kong because the SFC is not authorized to regulate non-securities like utility. But then last year, the law is authorized SFC also to like regulate utility token exchanges. So right now in Hong Kong, no matter you are utility token or security token, the license exchanges in Hong Kong can dealing with both. So which is more clear than US. This is the first thing. And Hong Kong's legislation is ongoing. So there are a lot of new things came out this year. First, they just issue a sandbox program about stable coins. And also they are getting the OTC under regulation. They're trying to doing that. As long as you're doing anything related to crypto, if you provide a crypto financial service, you can apply a license in Hong Kong. So everything in Hong Kong is under regulation. That's a good thing about Hong Kong. You don't need to worry about the uncertainty of the regulation. This is more about like Hong Kong's crypto related regulation. I think the new laws came out is all about financial sector of the Web3. But then for the technical side of Web3, I think the good thing in Hong Kong is that although it's a traditional financial center, Hong Kong government put a lot of resource in the innovation or technical innovation. And also the location of Hong Kong is in the middle East Asia. 3 hours flight, you can probably arrive every city in East Asia. And then the best thing about Hong Kong is it's pretty near from mainland. So we just mentioned there is tens of millions developers in mainland, especially in Shenzhen, right? There is so many big tech companies in Shenzhen. If we can attract more developers from these regions to Hong Kong, that would be a huge improvement for the Web3 developers. So although the mainland China still ban crypto mining, crypto exchange, but always thinking Hong Kong as a sandbox of China. Under the new Web3 friendly regulation framework, Hong Kong now is attracting developers and founders from China and other countries in Asia. Hong Kong is becoming a Web3 hub in Asia. Another thing I want to share with you that last April, we hosted a Hong Kong Web3 festival for the first year in Hong Kong. For that event, we only have 2.5 months to prepare. It was very rushed at that time, but the result is fantastic. I have 2 numbers I want to share that. It's a 4-day event in the Hong Kong Convention Center. It's 9,000 square meters venue, a 4-day event. For that week, we have around 50,000 attendees came to Hong Kong for Web3. I think in terms of the attendees number, that should be the largest ever Web3 or blockchain event. And also there are like hundreds of side events there. I think that is a good thing about Hong Kong. Probably you cannot find a big team to have 300 or 500 developers in Hong Kong because it's super expensive here. But it's a hub, developers, founders, investors, and also people from the traditional finance institutions. They are also willing to travel to Hong Kong. So I'm staying in Hong Kong right now, and you can meet different people from different regions, from different projects in Hong Kong easily. And that's a good thing about Hong Kong. So that's why we put Future 3 Campus at a Web3 hub in Asia.
That's wonderful. I saw a lot of pictures of last year's Web3 conference in Hong Kong. The conference was packed. Last year in the US, everybody was so depressed because of the regulation situation. But in Hong Kong, people say, wow, it was so exciting. Very different dynamics in 2 locations, the US and in Hong Kong. So I'm sure this year it will be very successful. A quick question. How easy is it for developers from mainland China to travel or to work in Hong Kong?
I think that depends. So if you are visiting Hong Kong, we need to get a visa from the local immigration. It's pretty easy. With that permit, we can visit Hong Kong and stay at Hong Kong for no more than 7 days. It's enough for business trip, for attending conference. It's pretty convenient. But if you want to have a work permission in Hong Kong, you do need to first get an employee and get an offer, get a contract, and then apply to the Hong Kong government for a working visa. All the passport holders, if you want to work in Hong Kong, you need to apply for working visa. But it's pretty easy actually. Though I think from the last year, the Hong Kong government has issued a lot of new policy that attract talent, especially for technical background talent to Hong Kong. I heard 50,000 people applied for working visa or resident permit for Hong Kong during the past 1 year. They are from mainland. Like Hong Kong government, they are issuing all kinds of policy to attract talent globally to Hong Kong right now.
It's the worst case, people can still just work in Shenzhen, which is so close to Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, that's right. And the living cost in Shenzhen is much lower than Hong Kong. This year, Ethereum's DevCon will be in Thailand in November. Still there are lots of developers living in Thailand because the living cost there is even lower or even much lower than Shenzhen. So when you are doing Web3 in Asia, I think few cities is really good, and it should be a combination that Hong Kong, Singapore, and Thailand. For founders, investors, BD people, it's good for you to live in Hong Kong or Singapore. But Hong Kong, Singapore are very expensive. And then probably for developers, some of them are more willing to live in Thailand, which have a much lower living cost. So that's why Hong Kong being a Web3 hub of Asia.
Yeah, and it's not too far between Hong Kong and Thailand by flying.
So go to Singapore 3 hours. Thailand, I think, is around 3 hours. Shenzhen is 15 minutes. And Shanghai is 2 hours. And then to Japan, it's around 3 to 4 hours. So that's why Hong Kong is kind of in the middle. You should come spend more time in Asia this year.
I know.
A lot of interesting things happening here.
Yes, I definitely want to. And that's why Blockchain Asia, my blog and a podcast recently I launched, been tracking Asia. In the beginning, 4 years ago, there was not much to write about. And now I can't even have enough time to cover because so many things going on out there.
That's
big difference between 4 years ago and now. So I'm so excited about what's coming. And it's good for the ecosystem as well. How about telling people how to apply if they are interested in Future 3 campus? Where can they go and apply for your next cohort or the future cohort?
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Future 3 Campus. And also we have a website called future3.io. Currently, we are recruiting AI camp, and we are going to announce our second DePin camp soon, I think in the beginning of April.
And what is the acceptance ratio? Can you give us some idea?
Yeah. So for each camp, we try to keep the number of teams under 15, no more than 15, because we don't have that much energy to take care of every startups if we have a number more than 15. So for the past few cohorts, I think the number is, the applicants are pretty large. For the first one, we received applicants around 250, and then we pick up around 13 startups. So kind of 13 out of 250. And for the DePin, our second cohort is about DePin. DePin is very new. So we got around 50 applications. And then finally, we selected 8 projects. We not necessarily to pick 15 projects. Our principle is no more than 15. But if we only have 3 or 5 qualified, we only choose 3 or 5.
Okay. It's such a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much from you.
Thank you.
And good to see you again.
Sure.
And hope all the best for your project.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to discuss with you.